Sith Lord 310 here, my first canon book review, Aftermath Life Depth. Let's get right into it. Okay, I did not enjoy the interactions and the characters from the first book, the new characters that we got in the first Aftermath book. But in this one, I really enjoyed the new characters. I felt the connections grew, and I really enjoyed the interactions between the new characters. Also, one of the main characters that I really liked was Temmin Snap Wexley, who was in The Force Awakens. I just enjoyed his character more. In the first book, I found him to be very annoying and very whiny, but in this book, I actually felt him and his mom, Nora Wexley, played a big part, and they actually mattered to me. I cared about the characters and what happened to them along in the book. One thing I liked, okay, spoiler, is that the story, the main plot story, actually connected with the side story. Because in the first book, I felt that there was a main plot going down, and then the side stories were going on as well, but they never really connected. They were just there, and it felt like too much was going on. But in this book, they connected some of it, and it felt much more important. One of the side stories was about a stormtrooper, or an Imperial, excuse me, Rommel, who was in Mos Esata's castle, and the rule there is no fighting. Leave your business outside. You come in and you just drink and enjoy your stay. He had a great story with a New Republic soldier who was there, who he got into a fist fight with because the New Republic bombed his home and killed his family. I love that angle because we've never seen that from an Imperial side before. We've always seen the New Republic or the Rebellion get their family taken away by the Empire. So something different, and I enjoyed that. And also, we all know since the first book that Nora Wexley and Snap's father, Brenton, has been missing. He just disappeared, and he was taken by the Empire, and we all assumed he was dead. But he's found in this story. He's found in the prison, which I'll get into later in the review, with Chewbacca and the rest of the Wookiees. And he's found alive, and his story goes way out of the left field. But I'll get into that later on. Now I'm gonna mention some of the old characters and how they were brought upon in the story. Mas Amedda. Now this character I never really liked. Honestly, in the prequels, I was like, okay, he's there. He's not really serve a purpose. They said he was Palpatine's advisor, but you never got the feel for that in the movies. Anyways, he tried to surrender to the New Republic, but they didn't want him. After Palpatine's death, he was just kind of like a political head. He was just there. He didn't actually do anything. He was just propaganda. And then Mon Mothma, on the New Republic said, "Hey, if you want us to take you, you have to make the remaining Empire call off the war from your side." Okay, now Princess Leia. Princess Leia in this book is pregnant with Kylo Ren, so we know that, and she finds out the gender of the baby in this book, so that's pretty good, pretty cool connections, and I love her friendship slash mentorship with Mon Mothma. You could tell Mon Mothma wants to help Leia with Han and liberating Kashyyyk, but Mon Mothma knows the thing that her business can't do that. She has to make sure that the New Republic is doing what they're supposed to, not handing out personal favors to her friend. And I love that whole angle. Okay, Han Solo in this book is badass, okay? I love Han Solo in this book. He is Han Solo. It doesn't feel like someone is trying to be Han Solo. It feels like Han Solo. And his entrance in the book was freaking awesome. I won't get too into it just to save time, but his entrance was badass. And Chewie, one thing we found out in this story, which I did not know was canon, I don't think it was mentioned until now, that Chewie has a family on Kashyyyk, or has, I don't really know. Point is, he has a family, so I'm thinking instantly, Christmas special? Does it mean that family? Is that family? Look at the family portrait. That looks creepy to me. Does that look scary to you guys? It's like, look at it. Okay, anyways, now I'm gonna get into other canon connections, the way the book has some references to other canon pieces. Okay, we get reference to Phantom Squadron, which we all know. I'm not gonna get too into that, but it's a squadron from other parts of canon. We also get introduced to a big new canon character who I have become a big fan of, who is Rey Sloane. I love her angle in this story. I've loved her angle since the beginning of the new canon. I followed her through the comics and all the several books, and you get to really feel what kind of person she is. She doesn't like the way the Empire is, what the Empire is turning into, and she's starting to see what how it's going to turn into the First Order, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't. She doesn't like it at all, especially knowing the way she was brought up and why she is the way she is from previous canon. You instantly think, "Oh my God, this character is so great," and her angle in the story is amazing, especially because she's in a way she's a capitalist. She's like, "Hey, I don't believe in saving the weak. It's the survival of the fittest," and she's trying to become the new emperor. She's taking out as much of her competition as she can. She actually gives intel to the New Republic to secretly just get her up higher in the ranks, which I thought was pretty cool. Then we get to see Coruscant post Empire, post Revenge of the Sith, excuse me, and we see that this place is into a total war ground. There's insurgents, there's Imperials trying to take control of it, but there's still insurgents fighting for it, and it's just the way it's described in the book. It's just makes you think, wow, it's pretty CGI city from the prequels is gone. It's a war ground now, and I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, then after that we get the acolytes. We have another appearance of them in this book, but this time their appearance is actually way more meaningful, and it's way more badass. We all know that the acolytes worship Vader. They do, and we get more info to them. They try to break into a museum to steal a red lightsaber, which they do. And assuming from the museum, I'm guessing it means it's an old lightsaber, old Republic maybe, maybe even Palpatine's because it's on Coruscant, so that could work. And we learn a little bit more about them. Their masks have to be earned. You don't just join and get the mask the first day. You have to earn that mask. And as we know now, they're sharing one lightsaber. A group of guys, females. I don't know. It doesn't describe the sex of them, but we just know that they worship Vader. And could this be the the roots of the Knights of Ren? We don't know yet, but I look forward to learning more about this in Empire's End, which is the third book. And also we see Ord Mantell, which is the Black Sun Syndicate crime home planet from previous canon as well. I love this because it just connects canon, makes us think, oh, okay, everything is connected. And for those who love canon, it feels good for us. Okay, next, a little other things we learned is that the remnants of the Death Star are being used to build a space station for the refugees of Alderaan, which I thought was pretty interesting. But one thing I'm figuring out is, what if this, space station turns out to be Starkiller Base? I don't know how they explain it. I don't know what would happen. Maybe someone would have backstabbed someone in a certain area. But point is, Starkiller Base. Could it happen? I don't know. We'll see. And we know Gallius Rux, who is basically the big villain in this whole trilogy, I guess you could say. He forms a shadow council with Ray Sloan, Brendo Hux, who is the father of General Hux from The Force Awakens, and of course other Imperial characters who don't really serve a purpose. Now, Brendo Hux, this guy, he is pretty much like a Nazi. He wants all the Imperial planets that they have under their control. He wants the kids. He's forcing the species or the humans to breed so they can use the kids in their military. Train them from birth, which is a connection to The Force Awakens. And we know that his son, Arminiage, which is General Hux from The Force Awakens, is that he sees him that he's not good enough yet. He sees that he's not proud of his own son, which is, I'm pretty sure, is going to come into big as we get down into the later movies of the sequel trilogy, knowing that why General Hux wants Snoke's appreciation so much. And also we learned something else that connects to The Force Awakens, is that there are hidden Imperial fleets in nebulae in the Outer Rim. The Empire is hiding out in the Outer Rim, which is how they survive, which is what we're getting from the new canon. And then, the Empire, I guess, in a way, gives up. But at the peace talks between the Empire and the New Republic, it's actually an attack. This is, you know, Mon Mothma gets shot, which I didn't know that. I didn't think she was gonna get shot. I was like, someone's gonna save her, but she ended up got shot. Like literally, she got shot and she survives, which is cool when we go into later canon or movies, knowing, hey, Mon Mothma got shot. That figurehead got shot. And then the most interesting thing to me is at the end of the book, there are some droids, you know, thinking for something on Jakku. And we know Empire's End, which is the third book, is going to deal hugely in or on Jakku. A boy named Gali is sent by Sheev to protect this place. We don't know what this is. We don't know what the place is, but the thing is, Sheev Palpatine. Is this maybe is this a flashback? Is this kid older now or something? I don't know what it is. But the point is, Sheev Palpatine. I'm hoping that it's not actually Palpatine. That it's an imposter, or maybe just an Imperial trying to keep the Palpatine spirit alive. I don't know, but we'll find out. What do you guys think? Comment below. Let me know. I'm just gonna shoot some fire facts for you guys. I just thought were interesting from the book. Okay. Leia has a plant in her New Republic quarters that Wicket gave to her on Endor. It was a seed, and it ended up growing to a plant, which is pretty cool. Cool little reference to Wicket, who probably is dead now. And we learned something that Han and Leia got married really quickly after the Battle of Endor, which is different because in the old canon, it took them a while to get married. But in this new canon, they got married probably hours after the Battle of Endor. And another big thing is that we learn a little bit about Maliki, the Rancor herder from Jabba's palace. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, so excuse me. I don't even know he had a name till this. Shoot me, go ahead. Okay. Anyways, it's the fact that he's, Malikili. I don't know how to pronounce it. He's lost after the Rancor died, and after Jabba died, people in Jabba's palace was just waiting for someone to come back, but no one did. So eventually, people started leaving Jabba's palace, and then Malik just finally decided to leave, and he was thinking about committing suicide out there in the desert until he was found by Twi'lek, Issa, and a man in Mandalorian armor that looks very familiar to him. Remember, says that the Mandalorian armor looks very reminiscent, that he recognizes it. Boba Fett, maybe? And one thing we learn is that the Sarlacc was hurt and, possibly killed by the exploding cell barge. That the pit was cut open and savaged by Jawas who found the armor. And it says they found the armor and a skeleton in the Sarlacc. We don't know what that means. It could mean anything, especially because we don't know whose skeleton it is. A bunch of, people or aliens fell into the Sarlacc, so we don't know if it's actually Boba Fett or someone else. Again, that's still open. And the Mandalorian, the guy who's wearing the armor at least, his name is Cobb Vanth. So what does that mean? I don't know. I think it could possibly mean it's Boba Fett. We don't know his actual name. Or it could be just someone else wearing the armor. Again, what do you guys think about that? Comment below and let me know. And also that the Empire actually destroyed Kashyyyk. They just took its, CGI beauty away. They destroyed it. Destroyed a lot of it, They do what empires do to, arrested planets. And then the old prison on Kashyyyk where Chewbacca and Branson Wexley are held is an old prison ship from the Old Republic. This is pretty cool because it mentions back to the Old Republic, which is something we don't really know about yet. And then Lastly, Yvonne Verlaine from the Princess Leia comic makes a big appearance and has a big part in it. Now, if you read the Princess Leia comic, she's right there. It's just pretty cool connection. Okay, guys, just my overall final thought on the book. Okay, the characters' interactions improved, and I actually learned to care about the new characters. They weren't just annoying. Also, while then I cared about the new characters, the old characters were brought into a way where it felt refreshing and it felt new, and it felt like the characters that I knew. The story was fleshed out. It wasn't rushed. There wasn't so much things going on that I couldn't handle or process it. I actually enjoyed it. I love the connections of the characters that we know, the characters that we barely met in this book or in the book before. I liked it more than the first book by a lot, and I am really excited for Aftermath, Empire's End, and I cannot wait for it. So I'm gonna rate this book out of 10. I'm gonna give it a solid 7. I really enjoyed this book, and I hope the Empire's End continues this trend. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you comment below thinking, is the guy in the Mandalorian armor Boba Fett? Or especially, the biggest question of them all, do you think Wicket is dead? Or do you think he is now living in an Ewok retirement home? Does Chewbacca have a family? I don't know. I really don't know, and I really don't care. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SifLord310, and also watch my other videos and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, the Force shall set you free. And as always, may the Force be with you.